All right, let me try one more. Amanda Berger or Berger?
It's another one of mine as well.
All right. Okay, let me try this. I have a lady signed in under iPhone 3.
No, I'm here.
Oh, who's here?
Me. It says Mandy Lion on the screen.
Ah, okay, there we go. All right, this is 20TR30925. All right, and it's pronounced Berger or Berger?
Berger. Hard G.
Thank you. All right, ma'am, you received a citation from Trooper Hernandez indicating that you were traveling 102 in a 70-mile-an-hour zone. What would you like to do?
I would like to plead no contest.
Okay, fair enough. Trooper, I'm looking at a clean driving record here. Do you have any objection to me doing a withhold at this time?
No objection, Judge. She had a good attitude during the traffic stop.
Okay. Ma'am, you did say no contest. Is that correct?
I did, yes.
All right. Withhold of adjudication, so no points. 4-hour driving school, standard fine and cost, which the total comes to $353. I can give you 90 days to pay and 60 days to get the school done, okay?
Okay.
All right, do you have any questions for me?
No. No, I mean, will I get something in the mail that'll show me all of that?
Yes, ma'am.
If I get it done?
Yes, ma'am. The clerk's office will send you the judgment with all of that, okay?
Okay, and I can do the school online?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then just pay the court costs?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care, have a good afternoon.
Thank you, too. Thank you, Trooper.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hey, do I leave now? What do I do?
Yep, you're free to go.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. Ms. Berger? Hi. I've noticed you've stuck around. Did you need something or are you just observing? Can you unmute, please? Oh, I'm sorry, I just muted you. There you go.
I was just observing. I just wanted to see.
Oh, you're welcome to. You're absolutely welcome. I just want to make sure that you weren't waiting around for me to come back to you.
No. I had asked you in the beginning if I could leave, and then I changed my mind and decided just to watch. It's been entertaining to learn about. I'm kind of sad that you hit me pretty hard on my fines, but you know, it is what it is.
What's that?
Did you hit me hard on my fines?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You know.
I can tell you.
Your Honor, I've sorry.
You found it? All right, give me just 1 second.
Yes,
Ma'am, I actually showed this to a gentleman earlier today. The fine that I gave you is the statutory fine. If you look under the Florida statutes, it's 318.18. That this is, you know, I didn't hit you any worse or any better than what the statute says is appropriate for that speed.
No, sure. I mean, I wasn't arguing. You know, I'm happy I don't have points, and you know, I have to do what I have to do. I just was like, damn, that's high.
I understand. All right, man. I'll leave you alone. I just want to make sure you weren't waiting on me.
No. I was just watching. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Todd, you ready?
Your Honor, this would be a change of plea in this case.
Ms. Berger, go ahead and unmute for a second.
Hi.
You stuck around for the whole docket. I would love to hear your input, about what you thought about today, if you're willing to share it with me.
Of course. So there's a couple reasons why I did. One is because I just really did want to see like how the fines work.
Yep.
But what I can tell you right now is I will not be driving 110 across Alligator Alley because I drive back and forth to Tampa a lot, and I also drive back and forth to Orlando a lot, and
Yep.
I speed. Honest to God, I speed all the time. I never really thought about it from like what I just watched right now and how dumb that actually is. So I'm glad I stayed because I actually learned a lot today.
I'm very happy to hear that. You have no idea how that really does a lot for me to hear something like that.
That's cool. And I thought that lady was crazy. The one lady, it's like that's not even the guy, and then it's his hair, and now she's praying for him. And you know, I mean, like the truth is, so when I was driving, the day that I was driving, where I was going is, unfortunately, my boyfriend committed suicide. He's one of the 22.
Oh,
And I was on my way. It was his birthday. I go to the cemetery 4 times a year. And it's his birthday was on December 16th, and it was the 15th, and I was driving, and I just was in my head. I wasn't paying attention. I passed, Waze said, hey, police up there. So I had slowed down. And then I didn't know that Trooper Hernandez was going to be on the other side coming towards me. I know a lot of times that they're, together, but I didn't know that he was going to be over there. So, I had slowed down to like a reasonable speed. Like I probably was like 75 maybe when I passed the trooper on my side.
Yep.
And then I just took off because, I'm just driving. I'm not paying attention. I have whatever music is on. I'm in my head thinking about him. I'm driving up to Bushnell, and I saw him at the last second. And I'm like, oh, well, hopefully he's just on the other side. He's not going to come to me. But no, and I saw him. And I knew the second that I saw the car that I was going to get pulled over. And he was mad because I was going like 100 and whatever. I knew I was. So when he pulled over, he had already asked for my license and registration and all that stuff. And I gave him everything. And when he came back, he's like, where the hell are you going? Which of course immediately made me start crying. And I told him where I was going. And he's like, man, you could see on his face. He's like, man, I wish I would have asked you that before I wrote out all this stuff. Cause he might've like lowered my ticket. He might've done something.
well, I'll be honest with you. I wish you would have told me that earlier.
I know I didn't know where the right time to do it was going to be either, because I was hoping that I was going to get to say something, but then it happened kind of quick and I didn't know what I was doing either.
You mean today or when you were at the side of the road?
No, just now when it was my turn in our hearing.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do. You said you go up there 4 times a year?
I do. I go for Memorial Day, Labor Day, I go for his birthday and his death day.
How recently did this happen?
10/19. And unfortunately, so we were on a road trip, and it was the first night of our road trip, and we were in a hotel room, and I was literally 3 feet from him, and he put a gun in his mouth and he killed himself. So it was really tragic what I have been through, and it's just, it sucks.
Ellen, can you reopen this lady's case for me?
Yep.
Get rid of the fine. Just court costs. I just took it. The total's $103, ma'am. Went from $353 to $103.
Thank you.
I'm very sorry. I truly am. And I said, and it does a lot for me to hear you say that you learned something today by watching. You have no idea how much I appreciate the fact that someone's willing to take their afternoon just to sit and watch traffic court and actually do something. Honestly, it means a lot to me.
Incredibly enlightening. I learned honestly from you, and the fact like what the position you end up in and trying to decide what you feel like doing based on almost nothing as input, and then also on the trooper sides or on the, the officer sides, like what they go through. Cause I never really considered that too much either, like they're just there. I figure they have like a quota they got to get to. And, really they use their judgment and then get burned. Like I was really super impressed by the one guy that came back and like, well, I would argue this. And then it turned out
Sergeant Deere. Yeah. Sergeant Deere and we go way back. When I was a baby prosecutor, he was a brand new cop. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I was completely impressed because you could see so he's got his facial twitches or whatever. So he wasn't super excited that he was now on camera having to do this.
I understand.
But, he kept himself together and he made his position and he was right. I sat there and thought, and even with the guy with the car seat, I'm like, the guy pulled him over going 110. He was clearly moving and there was clearly no car seat in the back seat. But he's, he has some interesting arguments, which I guess, kind of are valid.
Mr. Todd, he's a very good lawyer. He does a good job for his clients. He's a former trooper himself.
Oh.
I think he's from Maryland, but he's a former state trooper. So he understands, and he does a very good job for his clients. He's a good lawyer.
Yeah.
And sometimes his job is hard. He sometimes his clients put him in, in situations where he's defending the indefensible. But he does the very best that he can. I have no qualms with Mr. Todd and the way he does his job.
No, sure. It was impressive to watch. I would have never thought of those things,
Yep.
The one, unfortunately, the one guy, that he didn't speak in, some of the troopers, and you can see they had the whole notes and everything so that they were very professional. And then he tried to get the one guy that was a little bit lax or whatever. He tried to nail him on not being super professional in his testimony. And I was like, wow, I'm like, dude.
And sometimes it works.
Yeah.
you know, and what happens to the police officers who do get caught, sometimes being a little bit lax, is they learn a lesson and they don't do that the next time around.
Of course.
So no, I'm
Yeah, it was, and then I was laughing in the beginning because it says that it's live on YouTube, so anybody could be watching this.
anyone could be watching. Anyone could be watching right now. The reason why we're broadcasting live on YouTube is, when we switch to doing Zoom, for most hearings, it's not just the ID. You also need a password to get in.
Right.
Because when they first started doing this, there was a lot of Zoom bombing.
Of course.
Because they were publishing, courts were publishing the ID and password to get in, as people were just having fun at the court's expense and doing some pretty terrible things in the middle of court. Right. So then they doing password limited access, but the moment you do that, you limit the public's access to the courts. Everything we do in the courts is supposed to be completely open to the public. When things are normal, and I'm sitting in a courtroom, anybody can walk through those doors and just watch what we're doing. It's an open and public courtroom. Sure. But when we switch and do it this way with password protections and whatnot, we block the public from seeing what we're doing, and that is a bad thing. So what we've come up with as a piece of duct tape on the situation, right, is do these live streams, and that way anybody can click and just watch what we're doing. But if they're watching a live stream, they can't interfere with the proceedings.
Right, they can't start talking there.
Right. So any member of the public can see and hear what we're doing, and we have a public hearing, but they can't Zoom bomb us. So that's the solution we come up with. All of this is hopefully temporary. We're going back to our courtrooms for everything as soon as it's safe to do so.
Yeah, of course.
It's just right now putting a whole bunch of people in a small room for a long period of time is generally considered a bad idea. Right. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. And and people, I've been asked why are the courts being so cautious? And the reason is simple. You can choose to go to the grocery store. You can choose to go to a restaurant. For a lot of folks, they don't get to choose to come to court.
No, for sure.
Particularly some of these mandatory tickets. You got a ticket that says you must come to court.
I know, that's what he told me. I was like, what?
Yeah, we did not give you a choice.
No.
And we have to then accommodate to the highest level of people's safety concerns, right? Some people might be comfortable with much less safety concerns, but some people are not. And if we're going to make people come to court, we have to go to the highest degree of safety precautions for those folks.
Yeah, no,
and that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah. Like, I know for myself, I'm not really terrified that I might get COVID. Mm-hmm. I'm really not, because I'm actually not that upset if I die, which is unfortunate that I feel that way. But my fear is that I'm going to carry it someplace and give it to someone else. And unfortunately, the building that I live in is a lot of older people, and I don't really want to be the reason someone else dies.
Well, that's just it. Like I said, people have very different tolerance for risk. But if we're going to make people be here, if the government is going to mandate that you come into this building, we have to use every precaution possible to make sure we keep people safe. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. And that's why we're maintaining these Zoom hearings and whatnot. So once again, ma'am, thank you so much for your time today and just taking the, time out of your day to watch what we do. I appreciate it. And you have a beautiful dog.
Oh, thank you.
I was going to say the same thing.
But, yeah, I was like, I wanted him to, I'm glad I was muted because he was barking for half of this. So I was like, oh,
I love shepherds. You have an absolutely beautiful dog.
Yeah. He was actually my boyfriend's service dog. And then the organization that we got him from gave him to me because they figured we went through everything that we went through together. We were already considered a pack. So they let me keep him. So now he's my service dog. He's actually how come I leave the house. So, yeah.
Your boyfriend was a veteran?
I appreciate, pardon me?
Your boyfriend was a veteran?
Yes. Yeah, he was in Iraq. He came back with very bad PTSD. And so I was only with him for a year. He had been out of the service for, 12 years. And so when I met him, he was really messy, but he had actually gone to Bay Pines in Tampa, and he had gone through their PTSD program and their combat PTSD program. But this is all before I knew him. And then unfortunately, it did not save the relationship that he was in at the time. And I guess that relationship fell apart, which made him let go of all of the stuff that he learned while he was in there. And by the time I met him, he was pretty messy. We had almost a year together where he reconnected with his son. I mean, we did really great things in that year, but I think that he wasn't prepared for that. And then we went on this road trip where we were going to go and meet, like, we were going to see people he'd been in Iraq with. We were going to see people that he had met through Facebook, through, like, you know, combat groups that he was in. And I guess he just got overwhelmed with all of the different things that were going on. And his solution was to kill himself. You know, it was literally the first night of our trip. It had been like a horrible long day of, like, because he was drinking and all that, you know, like what they do. And yeah, he just, like, from 1 minute to the next, he was like arguing with me that I hadn't gotten the pizza there yet because he was hungry. And 10 minutes after that, he was dead. And there was nothing any different that night than any other night of any other experiences. Like, I could not have known that that's what was going to happen. You know, I mean, I was never concerned. He had the weapons. They were loaded all the time. I never even thought about it because, you know, when they're veterans, they know how to handle weapons.
Sure.
You know, but that particular day, and I went crazy. Like, now I'm telling you my life story, but I ended up going to a psychic medium person, and he showed up at the very end. He was the last one that showed up. And I always thought that this was a mistake, and he just forgot that there was actually a bullet in the chamber. And I knew there was a bullet in the chamber, but I didn't remember it then. But I knew because he had racked the gun, which I shouldn't tell you this, but he had racked the gun in my car. Like, I'm telling you, like, in my life, I never experienced any of the things that I experienced in this last year. He normalized things for me that are not normal.
I understand.
But I didn't even think about it. Like, he used to have me in his apartment. We'd be clearing, like, in his head, I'd be someone behind him, and we'd be clearing his apartment to make sure there was no insurgents in there. Like, that's not normal, but that's what I got used to.
Sure.
And I thought that he forgot that. I'm sorry.
Have you have you gone to counseling for yourself to deal with any of this, or?
No, I didn't, not yet. Part of the problem that I have with that, which it would be great for me, but because I'm alone and I don't really have any kind of a support network for that, I am terrified to open up the things that I have to carry around and then come home and have nowhere to lean to deal with it. So I'm not prepared to do that yet. I mean, I need to. Eventually I'm going to have to. Because eventually, like, however I got it walled off, eventually it's going to hit me.
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Find someone that you can start working on this with. It doesn't go away.
No, it really does not. And it does come up in very surprising places.
Yes, ma'am. Like traffic court.
Yeah, here we are, right?
You probably never expected to have this conversation with the judge.
For sure not.
But just do me a favor. There's folks out there that are the right people to talk to. It's worth it to start looking into that. And when you come home, you have the perfect person behind you.
Oh yeah, he goes
about it. Trust me.
Yeah. Actually, I'll tell you. So he goes with me everywhere. I mean, I almost never leave him home ever. But what I was afraid of is when I got pulled over, because he does not like when people approach the vehicle.
Oh, he was in the car. Oh yeah.
Sure. So I was having a heart attack because I'm thinking to myself, okay, I need to find a way to be as calm as possible so that he doesn't feed off of my anxiety and start barking at Trooper Hernandez. Because I know, like, as you know, when you're outside and there's an 80-something pound German Shepherd, you know, like, he could have been scared. And the greatest thing happened. He literally just climbed into the back seat and he laid down on the back seat and he never made a peep.
Well, I think he knew.
And I was like, whew, because I was so afraid.
I think he knew that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
German Shepherds are incredibly smart dogs.
Yeah, he's way smarter than me, for sure. And if you ask him, he'll tell you.
He probably would tell you that.
Yeah.
Because they're very smart, but they also have attitude.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, once again, thank you for taking the time to talk to me and share your story. Ellen, on this case, it's just going to be a withholding cost.
Got it. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm glad we got to do this. Listen, I come back and watch you all the time, but I don't want any more.
Ma'am, you can click on my YouTube channel. You can watch for it anytime you want.
Right on.
That's what it's there for. But thank you for talking to me. Thank you for sharing your life. Thank you for sharing your story with me. Thank you for listening today. It really means an awful lot to me that you trusted me to tell me these things.
That's awesome. Right? Thank you. Yep. All right. Well, you guys have a good rest of your day, and thank you.
You too, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you, Ellen. Take care.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
We still have a case on the docket.
Oh, we have one more. I'm sorry. Bye, Miss Berger.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye. Thank you. Okay.